we are going to continue talking about shapes. Now, we've been talking a lot about forms, which are created from shapes. A form is a three-dimensional shape that takes up space. So it exists in the real world. You can pick it up, you can hold it, you can turn it and look around it. A form is anything that takes up space in the real world and has all the dimensional sides. So we've been talking about those forms, creating them using shapes. Now, the shapes we've been using to create forms are three-dimensional shapes created with two-dimensional shapes for each of the faces. Now, those two-dimensional shapes are shapes because they are closed. They have a line that goes all the way around them. It connects and it does not cross itself. They're geometric shapes because they follow rules like math rules, right? A square has 4 even sides, 4 right angles, and the lines are parallel. Whereas a triangle only has 3 sides and all of the angles equal 180 degrees. So each of those geometric shapes that we're using has a different set of rules. We used those geometric shapes to create forms. Now we are going to use these forms as references to draw three-dimensional shapes in our sketchbooks. Now you should have your three-dimensional folded forms from last lesson. If you do not have your three-dimensional folded forms, maybe you have some of them, but some of them got a little crushed or some of them didn't quite work out, you can collect items from around your house to help you. So for example, I have my 3D cylinder here. If you don't have yours, you might have some building blocks. I have a stack of tape, which is a cylinder, or even a paper towel roll or a toilet paper roll, a soup can. Any of those things would be cylinders. Nobody had a paper-shaped sphere, but if you have any kind of ball at home, you can grab a ball to look at for your sphere reference. A cube, you can also use a three-dimensional building block. You can use a dice if you have it from a board game, or anything that is squares on all 6 sides. Rectangular prisms, very similar to our cubes. I have my 3D folded form here. If you don't have yours, or it got a little crushed, or maybe it's rounded and it doesn't have those sharp corners, you can grab something like a tissue box as a rectangular prism. I have this can of tea, which is a rectangular prism. Rectangular prisms are all around. A box, anything like that, cereal box, rectangular prism. Okay. Also, building blocks, another great example. So I have a bin of building blocks here that I just pulled out some of my 3D forms from. If you don't have those forms, maybe you have some magnet blocks. You can use magnet blocks to build shapes like triangular pyramids or square pyramids. And with those, they looked like this in your paper forms. So go ahead, collect what you need. You're going to want a reference for each of the shapes that we're going to be drawing. Once you have all your stuff collected, you're going to grab your sketchbook, open it up to the back where you have the blank pages still, and we'll get started.